Why do you say big mistake?
Because I don't think it was good for my psyche.
Do you know I'm a therapist? And so what's
I'm
drawing you
embarrassed
to
when I
them
say
now?
that.
If you've been reflecting
Oh my
on
God,
yourself.
reflecting. It's not even, I don't even think that word does it justice. It's like you've been opened up for surgery without anesthesia. I'm an actor, not a headline.
You feel like you put Sex in the City behind you. You don't think about it much. Is that what you're saying?
Do I think about it? Actually, I saw some of the old episodes and I thought they were really good. I said, man, this was a good show. But how would you define rape yourself? Or sexual assault? How would you define it? No, it was sad, it was disappointing, it was surprising because you need to call me and hear my side of this.
What would you say to Sarah Jessica Parker now?
I wasted years of therapy. I could have just come on this podcast.
You probably got more info out of celebrities than anyone else.
In my private life, I was living a nightmare.
This was definitely no stock podcast.
I think we ought to do this every week now.
Right.
Oh, I'm nervous.
All right, I got you. I know. You look good.
I was.
We match too,
I
so
was,
we're at simpatico.
Coming out of TM's, what's that place? Fuck my mind.
TMZ, where you can say that?
I got hit by a bunch of
Again?
paparazzi yesterday or the day before yesterday. I was coming out of getting my son a sandwich from that place on Coldwater. Oh, it's great. They have great breakfast there. Oh, what the fuck's it called? I'll think of it. And I walked out, all of a sudden, two guys with...
I saw it.
Well, were you giving the... you saw it?
Yeah.
You saw me?
Yeah, 'cause you told me, and then I looked.
And I like the response is he okay? Because I just, I was home with my kid. I wasn't combing my hair or anything. I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
I said, I better get a fucking haircut.
Sometimes I think about that with like the pickups and stuff. Like it's so much harder if you're recognizable to have to.
You have to my wife is always saying that, make yourself decent. I'm like, who gives a shit what I'm doing? I'm going out to get a coffee. And I always forget that there are what I call celebrity drones out there, paparazzi drones, which is how this whole other incident happened. It's just a lack of consciousness on my part about it. Like, hey, dude, they're out there looking.
Right. Well, you think you go about your day, you figure you're just going about your day.
How did they find me? I said that and they wouldn't tell me. They said, we saw you. I'm like, do you have something on my car that can track? Are we on, by the way?
Yeah, we're on.
Oh, okay. Do you have something on my car where you track me? I'm like, how in hell? And so a friend of mine said, go look at that. And I said, oh my God, I look like I don't know who, a beach bum or something. So I immediately got a haircut for you.
Oh, thank you very much. It looks very nice. You look good. You feel good?
Yeah, I feel all right.
Except for the coffee, the extra coffee.
3 cups, but that's a normal.
That's normal. So what do you do in the morning and then in the late morning?
Meditate, coffee. I love the early mornings. My son gets up at 6:30 in the morning. Sometimes I get up. Lately, my wife's been getting up, or we have a nanny that comes in part-time because his school starts at 8. But those early mornings I was reading about what you should do in the morning is get full sunlight on your face for a couple of minutes.
Vitamin D.
Yeah. Well, not just vitamin D, to set your nervous system. Rhythm. If your nervous system's been wrecked like mine, get it back sort of into fighting shape. Early mornings, and I love late nights too. That's the New Yorker in me.
So, yes, okay. So circadian rhythm, getting yourself in shape.
I mean, there's so many different things you got to do as you get my age. Cold plunges, I've been doing, although it's been so warm out, right? It's weird.
But it was freezing before it was.
Yeah, I was taking cold plunges in the pool. Okay. That's really torturous, but it feels so good when you get out after 3 minutes. It's just like, poof, it's like getting hit by lightning. And you're just like so invigorated and everything.
Do you do that every morning?
No, I have to admit I don't. I just sometimes need to do it. It's just like, wake up.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of your head.
Okay. That's interesting because I can see where it would get you out of your head because it's the body.
I'm looking at how beautifully white teeth you have. And my wife is saying, you look like you have squirrel teeth. because I've never gotten my teeth really whitened. No, on Sex and the City, I think they made me. But I should pay more attention to that, I guess.
So
because in my day and age, people didn't have these brilliant white teeth. Yours aren't brilliant; they're just white.
Yeah. So to me, I've seen a lot of very white teeth
like
that are
please,
really
you're
a
blinding
problem.
me.
Exactly, and they really jump off the page.
Yeah, it's like
and I don't think you want that.
No, I just don't want, raccoon teeth. So I'm sorry, I should have brushed them again. I brush my teeth all the time, but when you have 3 cups of coffee a day, you've actually got to go get them whitened a little bit, which I just haven't bothered to do. My apologies.
You are good.
I'll keep my mouth kind of closed.
Please don't. That's not the point at all. The point is for you to be able to say and be and talk and smile. And I like to smile. I'm a smiler.
You are.
You may have noticed that.
Yeah.
So that's just that's what I'm going to do. So
I'm so glad you found me through our mutual friend.
I know. Yeah,
He's
that
terrific.
He is, and
Joe's amazing.
Yes.
I don't know Joe real well. I met him, and when I got invited he invited me graciously to his cigar event. It's so great.
We're talking about Joe Mantegna over here.
Joe.
Yeah. So what is the cigar event that you go to?
It's an event that supports schools in, I'm pretty sure it's Cuba. It's basically a charity, but it's just a fun event.
Yeah, I'm in next time.
Yeah, I got to tell Joe you want to be in it.
Yeah, I will.
You'd love it.
I will. Joe,
I know you don't smoke cigars,
relationship.
but plenty of women don't, and just have great cocktails and things like that.
So it is kind of funny. I'm always intrigued by how I get to meet people and like connect with people. I love connecting with people. It's so good. And I feel glad that we were connected through Dan.
Yeah, Dan's great, Dan Ram.
Yeah. Also a plug on his book. Have you read his new book? It's really good.
I got to get it.
Yeah, you got to get it.
I get it. He and Joe put together a show that I think is great. That he's got it stuck right now in some kind of National Geographic, some kind of studio that doesn't really do anything because it would make a great show, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
They do good stuff.
Okay, so let's get back to your day. So you are up at 6:30 because your son starts school at 8?
My friends are going, not all the time, but and I want to start getting to be a more early morning person, but I'm also have that late night, with children. My wife goes to bed at like 9 sometimes. She often wakes up in the middle of the night too. But I find myself in New York, going to bed at 12 or 1 was just by the numbers. But here, if I go to bed at 11, it seems late. And of course, when you're working and you have early calls, that used to be just trying to go to bed early was hard. But I find in LA, it's easy to go to bed early.
Yeah, everybody does seem to go to bed earlier here for sure. Yeah. Like everybody.
I mean, in New York City, in the old days when Elaine's was around, I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
I've heard of it.
Elaine, this wonderful woman who ran it since 1963. She's passed on, but people would get for dinner at 10. She'd always be, "Are you eating?" You come in at 11
I love
and,
that.
Before iPhones and everything, you just go and you knew you'd see people there. It was a great joint, great saloon.
So do you have people out here too? I mean, we're talking about the person who introduced us, but do you have like friends out here?
I do.
In the same way?
I've got a couple of really good friends, and that when I can get a chance, we do dinners. One of my dearest friends from New York lives right up the hill from me now, Tom DiCillo, the filmmaker. He did the movie Living in Oblivion. Have you ever heard of that? Great movie. We're neighbors now. He did his first acting scene with me in Frank Rossaro's private acting class in New York way, way, way years ago. And we've been very close since. So he's moved out here now, and he's my neighbor. So we have certain restaurants we go to. We call let's go to our friend's restaurant, not friends. Cheers.
Everyone knows your name.
Certain restaurant where they know us and stuff. And then another friend of mine who's a manager. It depends if your friends are married and the ones that aren't. It's a whole different dynamic because the ones that aren't go out all the time, and you've got to pick and choose the night that you can get away. But it's a little bit of a community here. I wish there were some more restaurants where I live. I'm in Sherman Oaks, and we could use a few more good ones. But
there's some restaurants in Sherman Oaks.
There's some restaurants. The Boulevard's there.
Yeah.
And There's a couple that we like.
Yeah, but there aren't as many as you would find in New York, for example.
No.
Right.
A lot of the old places are gone in New York, unfortunately.
So you have a place in New York and a place here?
Yeah, I've always kept my foot in New York.
And that's in the Village? Is that where you are, or no?
No, I'm actually subletting and going to sell that. I'm on the Upper East Side now because the one in the Village was my apartment, my first apartment that I ever bought. Beautiful down on 9th Street and University. But NYU is kind of completely taken over the neighborhood. I'd rather be up with older folk.
A little hoity-toity.
No, it's just that I'm up near Central Park, and it's a bigger apartment, and I couldn't bring my kids to that other apartment. It was a one-bedroom. It's just incredible one-bedroom. I'm going to sell it, though. I've always kept a footprint in the East because I didn't want my oldest son, who's now going to be going to college in the East Coast, I didn't want him to be just an LA kid.
So he grew up here mostly?
Grew up here, but we spent all our summers, Christmas vacations I have a house in Great Barrington, Massachusetts, which is an incredible artistic community. I've done theater there. I'm with a bunch of artists now. We're putting together a play that we're going to workshop and try to maybe do it out here. And I just want him, and it must have worked because he didn't want to go to college out here. He wants to be East.
That's what happens,
yeah,
right?
he wanted to go to BU. He's going to, I don't want to say what college he's in just because of whatever.
Is he going to Boston now?
No, he's going to be outside of Boston.
Okay.
Great college. And I got a 5-year-old.
Wait, I thought you had a 7-year-old. Do you have a 5-year-old?
5-year-old. He's turning 6 February 18th.
So wait, you have a 5-year-old, and your older son is what, a senior?
He's turning
17?
18 this January. In fact, we're having a birthday.
I have a 17-year-old as well.
I like to joke to friends about my son. Oh, his name is Orion. He's amazing. I like to joke, yeah, man, I just had the greatest monosyllabic conversation with my son. What are you doing? Nothing. You want to go here? No. Everything good? Yeah.
Or because you're supposed to ask open-ended questions so you don't get the yes or no only.
I don't know how to do that.
But even
yet.
so, they still know how to answer them with one syllable.
He's got a lot of interior. He's very much more so different from my young son. I mean, when he was younger, though, he was different. He was out there too. But my youngest son is like
what?
He can't hide how he's feeling about anything. When he's happy, it's ecstatic. When he's mad at you, it's there. It's like, I don't like you anymore. I want different parents.
At 5.
Yeah. He's so incredible and adorable. Both our children are the light of our lives. It's completely changed my life in many ways. Obviously, every parent says the same thing.
But there's a big gap.
It's a huge gap.
How many years is that? That's 12 years?
Yeah, about
12 to
13 years. And here's another funny thing. And if I ever go to Vegas, which I rarely do, but if I go to the roulette table, I always bet on 18 and around 18 because Keats was born, Orion was born January 18th. Keats was born February 18th. Tara was born August 18th.
Tara, your wife.
And I'm November 13th. Odd man out. But so I always bet on 18.
Oh, that's sweet. So Tara.
And I've won a few times.
Okay.
Yeah.
She pronounced it Tara, not Tara. Is that what
Tara.
Tara,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, like Gone with the Wind.
Tara. Right. So Tara, both the kids are Tara's? Mm-hmm. So you had quite a gap there.
Yeah. Obviously, we were surprised ourselves.
How does that feel?
We weren't going for it. I almost fainted when I heard she was pregnant again because we were just sort of getting him to a point of adulthood where, hey, now, I was, going back to Thomas Train's, although his favorite is old school, Mickey Mouse, Tom and Jerry, that kind of stuff. But, the whole thing, going back, it's rough for me at my age. It's rough for her at her age, and my wife's a lot younger than me. But
how old is she?
45.
Okay, so she's still
46,
young in the
46.
mix with.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I had my first kid at 53. So when she says, I'm a little more tired than and I go, I'm a lot more tired, which is why it's like I have to get off my ass and just work at it.
Yeah. It's a lot. A 5-year-old too.
All my friends, and when I say that, or people, they go, you have a 5? Are you out of your fucking mind? I go, yeah.
I mean, you were telling me that you had the school thing to go to, right? You had some kind of like a
I have
seminar or
a
something like
basketball game to go to. It's all about school and kids for me in the last few years.
So, I mean, it was an unexpected surprise.
Unexpected, yeah.
But
Totally
it
unexpected.
changed your
In
whole
fact,
family.
we were in the house at Great Barrington, and she'd been feeling really like cramps and stuff, and I'm like, something, And then she said, "Am I pregnant?" I mean, I'm in the shower, and all of a sudden her hand reaches in with the pregnancy test, and I'm like, ah! No, it can't be. We must have tested it 3 times. But little Keats, he's, I don't want to show on TV, but I'll show you just to give you an idea of the spirit of him.
Oh, I see. I see it in his face. Yeah.
You get the idea?
So I feel like that's you too. Like, are you, you seem like you're spirited.
I was the youngest.
Of how many?
There were 3 of us, and I was the youngest of 2 boys. I was, when they wanted to play football, I was the football, or soccer ball, punt. And my mom adored me. My mom was an incredibly fierce woman, but I was a troublemaker, got in trouble a lot, misbehaved a lot, but I guess I gave them I was a hoot also. He's a good boy though, but very feisty. But I think we share a lot of traits.
So you express yourself too, it seems like, right?
Good or bad, yeah.
But you say what you're feeling. You feel
most
the feelings?
of the time. It depends. It depends. In this day and age, I don't as much because it gets you in trouble.
But internally you do, in your family you do.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I've had anger issues. Where they come from, I'm sure, is from different things that in my childhood that happened with my parents' marriage and stuff like that. But the thing is, the most important acting lesson for me I ever learned was when I went to the neighborhood playhouse, the greatest teacher, Sandy Meisner was a great teacher, and I studied with Sandy. But my teacher at the playhouse, because Sandy was sick, was a man named Richard Pinter, who then went on to run the neighborhood playhouse. And any young person in their young 20s has got insecurities and fears and angst. I'm seeing it in my own teenage son, and I feel helpless to try to do anything about it. But I remember Richard saying to us in class, he said, everything in your life that you don't like about yourself or is a problem or is whether it's anger or anything that is you think something you have to sell, that's your strength as an actor. Those are the tools those are your friends. It's like what Stella Adler also said, darling, you can't be a lady and be an actress. All that angst, all that stuff, that's the stuff of acting that you've got to tap into. But it's not great for your life to take that out. That's the difference. Yeah. But it was something that was very freeing because it was like, all that stuff that drives me crazy and that haunts me and, that's the gold. That's the oil. Yeah, that you tap into that rather than like just suffer from it. But you're right about the fact that it's probably comes from your parents, like things I think everything comes from our growing up. A lot does. A lot does. And my growing up was a sort of a combination of a beautiful childhood and a Sam Shepard play or Eugene O'Neill play. My father was a war hero, very damaged by the war and an alcoholic. And my mother was this fiercely, he called her the big blonde, beautiful, ambitious. And she basically had to raise the family because he wasn't able to. He should have stayed in the Navy, frankly. But it was hard to watch that marriage crumble. So you saw it crumble. You were old enough I was old enough. Oh, yeah. Well, how old were you? From the 5. If I have an argument at home, my youngest goes, hey, guys. Yeah. He'll say something. So from 5 or 6 years old, the marriage was deteriorating. My mother was extremely vocal, not one to hide her emotions at all. It was and I've had I had a very close relation. She was my biggest fan and everything, but she was also too much to take, Jean. She was a news correspondent for CBS in the 60s. And she was a handful for many people.
Well, how? Why?
Because she was very... she was a yeller. She wanted you to be a certain way. She was egotistical. She was narcissistic in some ways. Who isn't, you know? And she got fame for being who she was. She was also incredibly beautiful. A lot of very famous men fell in love with her and was bringing them to the house after my dad died. And so she had an image of how we were supposed to be. And so when the principal of the school called, your son was caught smoking in the men's, you know?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And it's hard to describe. I think that I've garnered a lot of strength from her also. She's a very strong woman. I mean, we have two young sons. She had 3. Mm-hmm. Now, that said, in the 60s and 70s, I think it was easier.
It sure was. I'm sure
much
it was,
easier
yes.
than today. I mean, to a certain extent, I mean, it was just simpler.
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah, simpler. Maybe not easier.
You know,
simpler.
On the weekend, 10, I'd be off with my friends. I'd come back at dinner. She didn't even know where I was. But I got into a lot of trouble as a kid. And don't forget, in teenage years... drugs were rock and roll. That was all happening, and we were all partaking in it. I think I probably smoked and did hallucinogenics at way too young an age, 15, 14, 15. Big mistake, I think. But it was part of what we were all doing.
Why do you say big mistake?
Because I don't think it was good for my psyche or... I don't think it's good at that young age to be clouding your mind like that. You know? For us, it was so exciting to get high.
Yeah, but looking back at it,
I was doing LSD.
Okay.
At a very young age.
Because your brain is still growing.
It's still developing.
Right.
Listen, I did some LSD. When my mom got remarried and we moved to Southern California, it was a huge mistake for all us kids. We hated it. It just lasted about a year before I came back east to school. But all my friends there were all doing stuff. And I did some and just, lost it, witnessed my own death in my head and like.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I just remember because I think I smoked a joint while I was on it and I kind of fell asleep and there was this Moody Blues song on. Da 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 da. And in it, it's like, oh my God, I've died. This is it. I'm dead. This is what it's like to die. Holy shit. It's hard to explain. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, I woke up from that. And apparently I walked into our next door neighbor's house, went off, because this was Newport Beach, went onto their dock and took off all my clothes and was going to do a sacrificial swim across the bay. This is terrible. I can feel the paparazzi drones already listening to this.
Right.
Those tabloid drones. And he did LSD, And I remember the woman looking at me going, are you all right? And I said, yes. And I jumped in the water and came to right away. And that was the beginning of me going to school out east and my mother trying to get me into a prep school, which instead I went to a very liberal arts, co-educational, which were rare in those days, school called Barlow.
That was in New York?
Dutchess County, very close to where I have a house in Great Barrington. That whole area is very familiar.
Got it. Okay.
I don't know why I'm telling you all this.
Well, it's interesting because I do think all of this does. I mean, everything that you go through, well, like we were saying, a lot has to do with your parents, but like all of the things that you go through in life contribute to who you are, how you see the world. You know what I mean? Like it all goes in. It's all input.
Yeah.
So it is interesting to me.
Yeah. I mean, those were interesting days. So different. It feels like ancient history now. Yeah.
So did you, and then after that, did things shift for you or what? Like what did you?
Well, I went, when I did go to school at this, you call it a boarding school, Barlow School. I've talked about it before, a very liberal education based on a school from England where there's no grades. And it was young men and women teaching. It was absolutely gorgeous and beautiful. Well, my mother wasn't too happy that I was going to. My older brother is a scholar, an athlete, straight A student.
That's so he's the oldest.
He's the oldest. Yeah, became a lawyer. He's a great guy.
Typical
Trout fisherman and everything. And he went to Mount Herman, which is a pretty prestigious. And she was trying to get me in there, and they were like, "No." Looking at my records and everything,
Okay, so you had a different.
You might want to try this school, which was it was really a renaissance for me because I learned very fast that, first of all, very sophisticated young women who went there. I mean, really young, but incredibly sophisticated. Artists, painters, writers at a very young age. It was pretty extraordinary. And I learned very fast, Chris, you're kind of a dummy right now. You need to start reading. And also these girls that weren't interested in, what's the word? Losers who were, getting their kids getting high and doing stupid things. And it was all about being an artist and whatever that meant, whether it was ceramics or writing poetry or playing instruments
So you started that stuff?
So that's what inspired me to get off my ass and stop being a juvenile delinquent.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
It happened at a kind of young age.
Well, yeah, 14, 15.
Yeah.
And it was unbelievably beautiful setting. Mm-hmm. Young teachers, we called them by their first name. There were no grades. They just gave a sort of report. All kinds of different stuff that was new to me.
Was that like a Waldorf school or something?
Kind of. I don't know. What's Waldorf?
A Waldorf school is like, it is kind of like
but
that.
I mean, the early 70s, there were only 2 or 3. The Buxton School, Barlow, the Putney School. A lot of them have shut down. We grew gardens, made our own food.
Yeah.
I knew friends, some buddies had teepees in the woods, or it was sculptures and frankly, guys had girlfriends and, at a young age, because the girls were on the top of the hill, we were on the bottom. The men and women participated in sort of everything together.
So was it very
It was
liberal?
Like a commune. It was kind of like a commune to a certain extent.
Those are interesting too.
It was. I mean, I didn't know some of the things that were being introduced to me. Dylan Thomas, poets and stuff that were for them this is called literature, dumbass.
So do you read now?
Oh yeah.
So you're a big reader. What kind of things do you read now?
It's really I have to wean myself off, the news. I get the New York Times and the Atlantic magazine, and lately I've been reading a lot of psychological books, and I want to get to biographies and novels, and because I used to read a lot of them. When I was in college, I studied Robert Frost a lot. His poetry meant everything to me. T.S. Eliot. I studied a lot of the poets. I was trying to write poetry. I still dabble in it a little bit.
So why are you reading the psychological, or is that what you call them? What do you call them? Self-help books? Whatever.
Yeah, I guess they're self-help books. I guess they're self-help books.
I have thoughts. A lot of people talk, because I'm a therapist. And so what's
I'm
drawing
embarrassed
you to
when I
them
say
now?
that. My nervous system being a wreck from everything that's happened in my life in the last 5 years. But that, meditation, physical activity, talking with people like you or anybody to try to get a handle on sort of even this last thing that just happened in the press where I stupidly should have never commented, although it was to someone that said something on my Instagram, and I forget that there's tabloid drones circling everywhere. It's like, dude, don't even respond. But it was just kind of an off the cuff thing that became this embarrassing kind of thing. I keep forgetting that being associated with that show,
Sex and the City,
and that character, and
Mr.
the woman
Big.
that played Carrie,
Sarah Jessica Parker.
that has impact to people, because I so disassociate myself from all of it until it comes up. it has no meaning in my life. And so, that's why I would off the cuff stupidly say something as dumb as I did, which I shouldn't have.
Right. So let's just be clear what happened. So
I had a Instagram post of New Year's saying when I was at my training, I was saying basically, fuck New Year's. Let's go. Let's work out. Let's be in the moment. And I got all these. I have really nice fans. Everybody does.
And you have a lot of followers.
Yeah, and they're very nice, and it's nice to have that. And sometimes I scroll down and then I looked and one said, "You mean fuck her,
Sarah Jessica Parker,
and her award?" And I kind of went, right. In other words, my meaning was like, yeah, right. Maybe inside I felt that a little, but I wasn't going to really express that. I shouldn't have even replied. It was stupid. But I've replied before to those things and, nothing ever happened. And suddenly I was like, someone actually scrolled down, to 150 response to that. I have no idea how that happened. And it became obviously a thing, which I then had to come out with a statement and say, this is not news. This was just off the cuff. I was being sarcastic. Sorry, everyone. And suddenly it became tabloid news. So I should have known. I should have known better.
So you're saying also that you feel like you put Sex in the City behind you. You don't think about it much. Is that what you're saying?
Do I think about it? Actually, I saw some of the old episodes and I thought they were really good. I said, man, this was a good show. Very funny. I go, that was good work. I don't define myself by it. I think it was a job I did, and everything that's happened since makes me want to even be more disconnected from it. I'm an actor, not a headline. You know what I mean? And everything that has to do with that show gets you into a tabloid headline. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of scoop, I guess, that seems to follow the show around. So
and I should be much more conscious of that.
So everybody's wondering if you and Sarah Jessica Parker are friends or have parted ways. I think is what it is.
We're not friends. No, I think that's pretty obvious.
Why is that obvious?
Well, mostly, and I'll try to make this brief, the statement that they put out, which was nothing more than brand management, really, it was sad, it was disappointing, it was surprising, because you need to call me and hear my side of this. And you've known me for many years and we've worked for many years, and that didn't happen. So when that statement came out, which is nothing more than brand management, I mean, let's call it what it is. It's don't spoil my gravy train. And I get it. That's more Hollywood than Hollywood. But before you make that statement, you know me, you've known me all these years, give me a call so I can give you the real scoop about this. And that didn't happen, and that was too bad. There's something gained and there's something lost. And what's gained is good. You know where people stand, and you know who your real friends are and who they're not. And that's important to know.
Okay, so the statement, just to be clear, that statement was after the, what do you want to call them, allegations came out.
Yeah.
Right.
We stand with the anonymous women. We feel their pain, whatever it was.
Okay, so and it's the other cast members who did that. It's Sarah Jessica Parker, Cynthia Nixon.
Yeah, those three.
Kristen Davis.
Those three.
But not Kim Cattrall?
No, Kim.
Okay.
Oddly enough, the woman who I knew least of all, Bridget Moynihan, when she was approached, she said, I don't know the facts. I'm not going to comment on that. And I thought that was fair. And the woman I know the most, but I get it. It's people make a lot of money from that show. And if they think that this is going to interfere, I would suppose that they're going to do what they did. But I don't think in all good conscience, if they had talked to me, they could have made that statement.
So did you feel like you had a close enough friendship with them that they should have?
Not them. I don't have a close friendship with her. It was a working friendship. In the beginning, I think we had a stronger friendship, and then no. I don't know. I just know that if it had been on the other foot, I wouldn't have done that.
You would have called her.
Absolutely. What's going on? Tell me what happened. Tell me your side. So that was hurtful. Mm-hmm. And it really affected everything.
That made a huge difference for you in
A game changer.
How?
I think when people heard those three come out that way from that show, which so many eyes are on, that they said, well, then it must be true. They must have known, I actually don't know what people are thinking. I just think they knew that the media would have a bonanza with it.
I mean, do you think, though, that they think?
I don't know what they think, and I don't care what they think. I mean, I can imagine what the tabloids are going to do with what we're talking about right now, because I've never expressed before how I felt about their original statement. And, it is what it is. People do what they need to do.
But it's frustrating. I mean, you're frustrated by it.
Well, yeah. I mean, yes, because I don't think you'd be able to make that if you talk to me. I mean, I know what happened. I know what was left out and what wasn't. It's just so confusing because you get the media involved and their whole job is to tear the bark off of someone. And so they had a feast with that, and they didn't need to make that statement. Their show wasn't going to get heard, They just didn't need to make that. And I hurt my family a lot with this, and I'm still worried about it. And that didn't help anything. It made it worse. And that's why I said, God, the woman who knows me the least, Bridget Moynihan, made the most sort of objective comment, which was fair. And Queen Latifah, too, I think, made a fair comment. Justice for everybody. I just can't believe all this has happened, But I put myself into the position, and I was super reckless, in the past. But I think the word rape is the ugliest word in the human language. And how would you define rape yourself? Or sexual assault? How would you define it? No.
What, you're saying, no, I didn't, I wouldn't?
Of course.
Yeah.
I didn't, wouldn't, couldn't, And at this point, I'm like, as painful and as, it would have been, I wish there had been a criminal trial.
Really?
Yes.
So
because I know it would have been thrown out.
Okay, wait. But so there was no charge. You've never been charged,
Never,
right?
No.
But you feel
but
like
it's all media charges, and it's a really ugly world when you get to it, of people that come out of the darkness with this shit. Other people go, well, I remember when and the media they'll just, pick up anything. It's a dark, ugly world when when something like this happens. Stuff comes out of the woodwork.
So do you feel like, so one thing happens and then you feel like then other people start, is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what did happen. The odd thing is that there was an investigative report from some actress who said I was drunk on a set. I won't even mention her name. And it was investigated, and witnesses that were there from the crew talked to her, and of course it was not true. And that went nowhere.
So wait, that was an investigative report.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. I'm interested in what you said though about you wish there was a criminal trial.
Because I know I would have been exonerated. Because I know that if I got on the stand or if there was a cross-examination, that it would have come out. I mean, there were all kinds of things that were left out of those articles and texts and things like that. Do I wish? I mean, I don't really wish, but it's like to be able to cross-examine and look at the facts. It would have been better. But it would have been painful. It would have been terrible for my family, and it would have been probably would have gone broke doing it. A lot of these guys are broke. God, I don't want to go into this.
I know you don't want to. So basically, though, you feel like there's information that you have that we're not going to get into.
Let's not go. It's a rabbit hole that's just unbearable.
But that's what's driving that statement that you said about. I almost wish that it was that I could be in court and say these things.
I almost wish, if you're going to do that, if you're going to call that, it's a crime. Let's go. It's just impossible. It's really impossible to talk about because a half truth is a whole lie, as far as I can look at it. And I would imagine that a criminal trial would mean cross-examination. And there's a lot to that, and I would feel very confident in that and very confident in taking the stand in a criminal trial and telling exactly what went down.
So, but you've sort of, until like now, right now, as we're talking about, you've been like not said anything, pretty much, right?
Pretty much. So
is that frustrating? Like that must be frustrating.
Yeah.
Your lawyers told you though to say nothing, right?
Yeah, they say don't. I mean, my lawyer would probably kill me for talking to you like this. I don't know why I'm doing this, frankly.
Why are you doing it?
My big mouth.
But why
Everyone
are you?
says don't talk about it, and it's like, but it boils up in you, and you do sort of want to talk about it. The problem is, again, the tabloids just take something and run with it and lie about it.
Right. So it would be easier for you probably not to talk about it, but it boils up, like you said. So you feel like you need to express yourself. Again, in life,
I know, but we're not, if I was a normal person, that's fine. But because of who I am and because of everything that's happened, you saw what happened with a stupid one-word response, right? Imagine what they're looking at if this comes out, He wants a criminal trial,
What do you want everybody to know? Like, what do you feel like it's important that everybody knows?
I am not someone who ever sexually assaulted a woman. If we're having sex, it's because both people want to be having it. And when one doesn't, that's it. There's the door or whatever. End of story. Stop. Period.
So when all of this came out, like how did that impact you? How did it impact you? Said you hurt your family a lot, or it hurt your family.
Yeah.
How?
Come on. It's devastating. Obviously. Incredibly devastating. I mean, you're just numb. You're shocked. Just like getting hit by a wave and trying to get up and then hit by another wave and then hit by another wave. And, people coming out of the woodwork with accusations from, if someone you were rude to or something or impatient with, if they had a say, of course, the press is the media will take it. They don't care as long as it gets clicks. And I think people are aware of that now. And so, it was just, I couldn't have a nervous breakdown because I got children. And the main thing was, okay, we've got to protect them from me, from all that I put them in the position of. And so we had to just kind of stop. And how do you protect them against the media? I mean, we had people coming in trying to get into our driveway, and it's gross. It's disgusting. And it's hard to live with that. I mean, I don't like celebrity at all. I liked being an actor. And, brand management is like you're expendable if they don't, if they feel that it's worse to have you around with all this than not. And, that's tough.
So it sounds like.
But then, you'll get a writer who will say, Chris Noth, you are not a victim. And I absolutely agree with that. I am not a victim. I put myself with my past actions. They're not what they said they are, but just not understanding that your celebrity means something to the media or whatever. But on the other hand, I'm not the villain they want me to be. But it doesn't work by complaining, which is what I feel like I'm doing right now.
Yeah, so something you just said, which is like, I'm not a victim, is important for no. Because
I'm not a victim. I've hurt my family from my past actions. It's just that it's not the actions that they're saying. Listen, I catted around, I philandered. You give yourself these excuses. You're not hurting anybody. Hey, this is great. People are, what I mean? Why should I turn down this opportunity? Really terrible things, right? And you insulate yourself with lies. You just lie to yourself.
That's
it's
interesting.
Like what,
so you stopped though at a certain point. Because it was like, it sounds like you had a wake up call also for yourself internally.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm hearing.
Well, I'm still struggling with all this. I'll probably struggle forever. I would like to get back to acting. I get very triggered when all this shit comes up, and I get very fearful for my family of how it affects them. And I mean, like I said, I don't want to be a headline, which is why I'm even worried about this, because if this goes out, they're circling around. The drones, there's one right over there, up there, And so already I can hear people saying, shut up, don't talk so much, because it can be taken out of context, and it always is taken out of context.
So we are putting context in it right now, and I'm going to add a little context to it that I'm seeing, which is that you have been looking at yourself, you've been reflecting
Oh my
on
God,
yourself.
reflecting. It's not even, I don't even think that word does it justice. It's like you've been opened up for surgery without anesthesia.
Starting when?
Starting when all this
Before
shit happened.
this? Before, were you like already thinking, or is this kind of the thing that was the big wake up call?
No, I think this was a huge wake up call, and it's not lost on me that a lot of other people who have been through certain things, they forgive pretty fast. There's something about this character that I played, and the notion that
Mr. Big, you're talking about?
Yeah, and there's something about that has stuck that, I can't get away from, that somehow matters more to the media, and this relationship with that woman in Sex and the City. There's something about it. I can
analyze that if you,
Go.
Because I think that the character it represents a lot of things for a lot of people, right? So there was something about him, meaning the character, that was like unattainable. And are you following me? Do you think?
Yeah, but I never believed it, and I never understood it.
Regardless of you, take yourself out of it for a minute.
Right,
We're looking at the character.
Right.
Right, because so there are a lot
I never understood why that was so
I'm trying to tell you.
magnetic to a woman.
But this is what I'm trying to tell you. So there, just like we were talking about before, that things that happen with your parents impact a lot in your life. So lots of times when there are things and there's some availability but lack of availability, there's some attention and some love that's thrown on you, but maybe also you don't quite get that person's love completely or approval or attention, then there's that tendency to repeat it later in life with those other relationships. So this is not an uncommon phenomenon that I'm telling you about. So
also, I think I probably poo-pooed the fans of that character by like disappointed them with my behavior, and it like kind of like made them mad that this person that they loved or whatever, and then there's me, the actor, who kind of destroyed that image.
At the same time, it also seems like it could be in line with the character.
Yeah.
Right? Like Aiden, if this were an Aiden situation, like if it were, who played Aiden again? Tom?
John Corbett.
So if John Corbett had this going on, it would really be like it would be misaligned, right? The two characters.
Right.
But because there's already this like preconceived notion of Mr. Big, it kind of falls into that a little bit more.
Yeah, like
he could do it. Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I just, again, should have been more conscious all the way around that this character meant something, and me being so reckless that,
So you regret the recklessness of it.
Yeah, but like I said, that word, which is the ugliest word in the human language, there is no fucking way that I would. I'm guilty of a lot of other things, obviously.
What are you guilty of?
Well, cheating, and I understand that you can't treat women like a one-night stand and kind of like dismiss them, I've said it before, you can't mistake happiness, pleasure for happiness.
So what are you doing to try to move forward?
Well, I obviously am not doing enough. If I
what do you
made
mean?
this stupid comment of I obviously should have been smarter than to do that, So if I had been enlightened enough to know that, hey, dummy, right now, people are invested in this relationship and they're probably looking for things. I never think of it that way. I would have shut my mouth and never said some off-the-cuff remark.
All right, let's fix it. Ready? I have a way.
Go.
What would you say to Sarah Jessica Parker now?
You did yourself a disservice and me a disservice by not hearing what I had to say about this, because I have a lot to say about it. I know exactly what happened. And I would tell you that. And then you can make your statement. So, you went for the brand, and you missed the human contact. And that's it. Have a good life.
Okay. So I know you're working on yourself and you're working through all of these, the anger issues, everything with your family, all the things. So you're working hard. So what are you doing? What's working? What are the messages you're telling yourself now?
I got a lot of progress working with Bart Morris in a men's group called the Lion's Den.
What is the men's group?
It's called the Lion's Den.
What is it?
It's men who get together and deal with the kind of issues that men have in relationships and with their wives, and about going into your vulnerability, mostly dealing with problems in marriages, and it's very hard for me to.
And you talk about that with each other?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I love that. I was just talking to somebody last week who has something
similar. His name is Bart
similar.
Morris, and it's like, he got me actually to write a letter of apology to my wife, and that was work. That was transformational for a while, and then I fucked up again, just in terms of, not in the way you're thinking, but just in terms of like, stuff comes up when something like this happens, and you have to realize that the tentacles. It's like, I described it as like the fires when the fires in, where was it that burned down? Not Malibu, but the
Pacific Palisades?
Pacific Palisades. And they said that there had been a fire and they put it out, but what they didn't put out were the embers beneath. Mm-hmm. So that when a wind came up, those embers created, and that's psychologically exactly what happens in a marriage, I think, a lot. That you think it's about this, but no, it's actually about that. And that is my bad for not realizing that. So I have a lot to learn.
We all have a lot to learn. It's a fact. Always.
I feel right now I said way too much about that other stuff, and it's going to, it affects our household when it gets in the tabloids. It just does.
So what do people, what should they know? Like what?
Well, everything we talked about.
But yeah, I think the hardest thing for you is the fallout of everything.
Well, it's spiritual. It's everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Whether it's a cold plunge or talking to a men's group, therapy takes you to a certain level, but it's a spiritual problem also.
Have you seen a therapist?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what did you learn in therapy?
It goes only so far with me, but it's a great relief to talk to someone. Like if you were my therapist, it would be a great relief to privately, not for, not what I just fucking did, but spiritually, I think it's a much more, I think meditation is really hard. And just when I think I'm getting somewhere with it, I'm in my car and I'm honking at someone and pissed off, like, what the fuck, you know what I mean? So, but even that observation tells you, oh, look at your mind, look what it's doing. Trying to deal with fear, which I have a lot of. I'm so distrustful now of people and what they want, because so much, like I told you before, of really dark shit came out of the oozing out of the media swamp to really, how do you deal with that?
Yeah.
God, I wish I'd never been I was like, it's not worth having done this role, because I just feel like my actions with that role created this maelstrom of toxic, discourse. Although, I'll tell you this, I've gotten a lot of kindness from strangers, just that I meet on the street. And if there's one thing that I know now is like, because sometimes I used to get impatient. It's like, God, I'm having a private, is like the kindness of strangers has been amazing. Just walking down the street, a person that wants a picture, I'll always do a picture now. It's like, you want a picture, you got it.
You even talked to the paparazzi who came to Hugo.
Yeah,
so I'm just saying you did talk to them. You didn't just ignore them.
I know. I'm like, what are you guys doing?
You did talk to them. That's gratitude. Also, it's gratitude.
Gratitude's
By the way,
a big
gratitude
thing.
seems
Huge.
so simple, but it's so
hard
powerful.
because it can't just be, oh, I'm glad I have food on the table.
It can start like that.
Can start like that, and I know that it's a constant process. it's just all a constant process.
It is, and you have to be patient with yourself during the process.
But I'm not some young bumpkin. This is like...
It doesn't matter.
I'm so like, at this age, I have to learn all over again.
Some people never learn, and it's called neuroplasticity. Your brain does change. It can change. It doesn't matter how old you are. So you can be somebody who chooses not to learn and not to evolve and not to understand things and themselves more. But that's no way to live, and you can do that. It doesn't matter how old or young you are. You could be young and decide not to do anything. But yes, at this age, at any age, it's wonderful that you're learning. That's exactly what you want to do.
Well, another thing is the ancients have so much to offer to read, Seneca, all of those. And they're all about embracing the pain, that it's your friend. Mm-hmm. And they're also about don't try to control things that you can't control.
Well, that's
which is
absolutely
a real
true.
lesson for me.
Yeah.
Frankly, talking about this is in some instance me trying to control, what happened. I can't control.
Well, you certainly can't control the past.
Can't control the past. Can't control what people think. Can't control people that are going to hate you no matter what. Can't control the way they're going to misinterpret your words. Can't control half-truths, whole lies. Can't control any of that.
Right. So you can take care of you.
I mean, to even talk about what happened, to talk about Sex in the City, I find almost nauseating. To admit to you, I like what you said, what I would say to her, but to even bring it up because I've never experienced, I'm just an actor. I feel like, that movie Mephisto? It's a great movie. You should see it. You'll love it.
Really?
It's a German movie. At the end, he goes, "What do they want from me? I'm just an actor." What?
It is pretty wild. You're
and
just
I'm not even a real. I mean, what have I done? There's so much I haven't done. I mean, there are so many great actors out there, and I'm stuck in this Sex in the City world where it's like, I have to talk about this. Even is like, what the fuck?
Whatever happened with Law and Order?
Well, that was very simple. It's just Dick didn't want to pay me any money after 5 years when my contract was up, and and I was kind of half out the door anyway. So it wasn't a big deal. Actually, the best thing that came out of that was 2 years later we did the Law and Order movie. I loved Law and Order, and I loved the experience of it. It was New York. In the beginning, it was just us guys. It was a good time.
But it was good. You look back at it, it was good.
It was good. I thought the show was good too then.
And you would like to act again.
I am acting again.
So what do you do
Here's
now?
the thing about acting, like music. You can play in Shea Stadium, right? And you're making music, or you can be in a coffee house and you're making music. It's the music that counts, not the venue. So if I do some theater with friends and we take it somewhere, it's acting. If I do an independent movie somewhere that nobody sees, it's still acting. Have opportunities been lost? Of course. I mean, and it's interesting that all happened and those things came out at the moment that show premiered. And just like that, which I don't watch, but it was a big deal when it first came out, the continuation. And probably, would there have been a lot of opportunities? Absolutely.
What did you want? What did you have your eyes on back as your career was progressing?
There's a lot of great material out there.
So like example.
I mean, theater, for instance.
Okay, so
Broadway,
theater, yeah.
Limited series, trying to produce things. What show have I recently seen that I think the acting was phenomenal? Oh, the one about Garfield, the president, called Death by Lightning. Did you ever see that one?
No, I can't believe I don't see any of the things that you bring up. I watched so much.
You should watch Babylon Berlin, actually, which is a German show.
I've heard such good things about it.
Incredible.
Oh, okay.
Also, The Last Kingdom, Uhtred. Destiny is all. Great, amazing show. What else did I just see? Of course, I love all of the British show. What's it called? About the Queen and the King. And
oh, you mean the Queen? Is it called The Queen?
No.
Oh,
come on. I'm just having
The Crown.
The Crown. I'm just having an old man brain fart. Excuse me. The Crown, amazing. It's incredible acting. There's so much incredible acting out there.
So 10 years from now, do you want to be back in the thing, back in the zeitgeist? No? What? What do you mean? Why not?
What do you mean? 10
Well,
years
what?
from now,
Yeah, what about-
do I want to be what? I'm going
I
to be
don't
a
know.
lot older in 10 years.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I mean,
Ed
I want to
Asner
be
was, what, 94 or something, and he was
I want to
still-
do things that are callings of the heart that mean something to me. I don't want to just be. I mean, at this point, I would take things just to work and to get people out of the notion that I'm sort of been, I guess canceled is the word. I never think of myself as that, but I'm sure in the industry people look at it that way, but I don't look at it that way. My manager and I are like, yeah, let's go up for stuff, see what happens. And people will have the opinions they have. Theater right now is something I'm looking forward to doing. There's a play by Shakespeare called Timon of Athens that resonates with me right now that I think I want to do. I haven't done Shakespeare since, Zoe Caldwell directed me in Hamlet in Stratford, Connecticut. And theater was my whole life, and then I got Law and Order, and it just kind of snowballed, and then Sex and the City. But I find that I don't know. I don't know if I'm a contender or not, because I think there's some amazing actors and actresses out there. And it really helps to have great material. And when you do, you get sparked to greatness, I think. And when you're in kind of mediocre material, it's a downer, it's a downer. I think with Law and Order, I think I was so thrilled to be in it, but after 5 years, I got the feel of what it was, which it became a brand. It's
still a brand, yeah.
Yeah, it's got 5 Law and Orders, and it's not something that interests me. But I'm lucky that I wasn't an idiot with the money I have made, because I can still support my family. But I need to work, and I want to work in the right way. And we'll see. Yeah. I'm kind of floating right now. But most of my thing is about the family. I've learned how to cook really well. That's
what do you make?
Really great. I can give you the recipe for a great roast chicken.
Oh, yeah?
Do you like roast chicken?
Yeah.
And I get a lot of stuff on Instagram of recipes.
And they're good?
And they're very good. Google things too. So you get depending on what spices you like, get your, I like smoked paprika, salt and pepper on your chicken, right? And then cut up about, 6 lemons, cut them up, put them in the cavity along with cloves of garlic. And I like to put in a little herb butter in there and put a little herb butter on top, put it in the oven at 400 for 50 minutes. You're going to have a great roast chicken.
Very nice. Okay.
I cook my son a really great steak all the time. He's a fucking eats. Your teenagers eat. My God.
Oh, your 17-year-old.
My 17-year-old. I'm trying to get my 5-year-old to eat, but
he will eventually.
It's he likes hamburgers. It's so funny. You want a burger? Yeah.
So do you so you cook? And then what other what are your other things that you do like that?
Oh, I keep the planting trees around the house, or meeting with friends, getting this theater. We're putting together a show of Ionesco's Rhinoceros, which I did 2 readings of in the Berkshires. It's a great artistic community over there. We're going to workshop it and try to get some theaters to do it. Trying to keep my head above the waters of despair, which, I was in despair when this shit happened. And the thing is that I couldn't go, I would never commit suicide. But I was in despair over it all, because it's not just reputation, which is hurtful when people are accusing you and hating you. And then the people that fall away, that's good. It's good to know who falls away. It's good that those girls showed me who they are, but it's humiliating. It's despair. But having kids says you don't have time for despair. You got to protect them and the family. And in doing that, you sort of crawl, you know what I mean? You do the things to deal with despair. I lost a lot, but the career stuff, fuck it. It's the public humiliation is hard. The diagnosis of who I am as a person by people who don't know, mostly in the writers. The absolute hatred that some of the media poured on me it's hurtful. And how do you let them? That's an ongoing process.
So the despair, though, you got through it by thinking of your kids.
Yeah, but every once in a while I get triggered when something comes up because I don't like to be in the glare of the headlights of a tabloid world, which is, let's face it, we have very few news. It's tabloid news everywhere. Maybe the New York Times, sometimes the BBC, a few newspapers are real news. I don't believe in fake news, the Trump thing, but tabloid news is fake news because there's, too many instances where I see it's a complete and utter lie and they don't care. They have a power and they know they have a power to shape how it's going to be, and that's the way it is. And it's hard to deal with.
So getting back to your kids got you
right.
Your perspective was you knew it was important. Protect your kids first. Like, did you ever think about taking your own life?
No, not when I have kids. Maybe if I had been alone, I can't take this. What it does is after a while, he's just like, I don't give a fuck about all of it. Right. After a while, you have to say that about all of it, including all the sex, and say, I don't give a fuck. But when if it gives my teenager anxiety, I give a fuck. And then, I have to be careful about getting angry because I'm the perpetrator of it. I did it to my family. I did it. That's hurtful. That brings some despair, but you work with it. You work with it constantly. I'll go take a cold plunge right now after this.
Yes, you should. You should. But I
meditate, I read, and I'm like, oh, fuck.
What do your best friends see in you?
They see who I am.
Who are you?
How do you answer that? If I said that to you, I
know it's a hard question. I've asked a lot of people that question. Not everybody has an easy time.
I don't have an easy time.
And I've been called out.
I think I have a pretty good sense of humor. I'm very honest in my reactions, which can be, troublesome in the marriage because it's like I don't always understand that, when I'm upset about something or excited about something, my tone or my voice, and I'm just letting it out. I'm like, I explain this to my wife about the differences between us when we have conflict. I'm a summer's rainstorm that's pounding down and then it's gone. It's like I blah, and then like it's gone. That's not fair, but that's what I'm like. She's like a fog to me. It's like when it comes in, it's going to take a while for the winds to blow it out. And so I've always described that. Fair or not, I don't know if that's true. But I get over something fast, if and that's a problem. I can sometimes say some very hurtful things that just come out of me. I don't know. I used to say it's because I'm a Scorpio,
Right.
I don't know enough about.
Well, it's because I'm going to tell you it's because of your parents.
Huh?
I'm just going to tell you it's not because you're a Scorpio. It's because of your parents.
It's because of my parents. It's because I learned this in the Lion's Den too. When I saw what happened to my dad and with my mother who just browbeat him, but he was, he didn't get there. He didn't fight it. He didn't, you know what I mean? And she had to bring up 3 boys by herself. So I admire a lot of what she did, even though she was just intense and hard to deal with. And I spent from the time of 16 on getting away from her. I mean, when I was 18, I lived with my girlfriend in New York before college. We both moved to New York. I was like, I'm gone.
Did you but did you talk to her still? Is she still with us? Is she still alive?
My mom,
your mom?
She's passed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was with her when she passed. Okay. I'm very lucky in that. I was in Budapest doing a show, and I got word from our caregiver, and I flew from Budapest I bought my mom a place in Maui. I had to fly from Budapest to Maui. Really difficult flight, and I got there just in time to be with her. But she was 92.
92. Mm-hmm.
She was a great lady. I think I was just talking to her the other day in my prayers. And I said, as much as I complained about you, your strength as a woman has given me strength to get through what I've just talked to you about, despair. And by the way, some of this, what we've talked about, I'm going to use as an actor. And there'll be a role, and I'll make good use of it on some level.
It's not always easy to see in the moment what it's going to become, what you're going to learn from it, and what you're going to turn it into later experiences in life. And sometimes it doesn't feel good at all, but it will take
and the
you
ancients talk
somewhere.
about that also. The Stoics,
Yeah.
pain is your
Interesting
friend.
Stoics.
It's just hard to get that it is. Really hard. But that said, who am I? I'll go back. I'm just an actor. What do they want from me?
Okay,
I'm spontaneous. I think I have a pretty good sense of humor. I think I have a big heart, and I have lots of fears and insecurities, massive amounts of insecurities, and I just try to deal with it. But mostly, I'm a father, and that's the most important thing for me. And it's why everything that's happened has, close the gates, turn off the engine. When men of the sea who are on boats get into a terrible, terrible storm, they turn off the engines and drift till it's over. And that's kind of what I feel, partly what I'm doing. But in turning off the engine, I mean, get the family, protect the family, be with the people you know and love. And I have a lot of great friends. And like I said, a lot of wonderful, well, every celebrity does, so I'm not bragging about that. But I have some really lovely fans that have been, I shouldn't, because like I said, everybody does, but it's nice to hear,
Yeah, everybody needs a little
love.
validation, and love. It's a human need, and a lot of what drives a lot of things in life.
Yeah.
So, okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
For sitting down with me. I know you were not sure.
I'm going to call you when it hits the National Enquirer, but
I've got you.
All right.
Thanks, Chris.